As a TEDx speaker, trainer, and coach, Kathy's real-world lessons are forged from her unique personal experiences as an individual who has overcome destructive generational challenges of violence, alcoholism, and addiction. Despite being ill-educated, Kathy went on to grow many skills, becoming a corporate leader and entrepreneur, goals she once thought were unobtainable. As a resiliency expert, Kathy uses her experiences to teach her audiences the same building blocks that helped her to persevere and achieve her goals despite the odds. Her motto is, "If I can win my fight with the odds stacked against me, so can you." I give you Kathy James.
What if I told you that life was like one big boxing match? And how many of you would agree that sometimes it feels like life is sucker punching us in the gut? I've been there. Growing up, I loved to play with Barbie dolls. I had the Barbie Jeep, the Barbie camper, and the Barbie pool with the slide. But Malibu Barbie was my absolute favorite. I also woke up early on Saturdays to watch cartoons like Thundercats. On the outside, I was just like any other young girl that was born in the early 80s. Except my life was far from normal. You see, both of my parents were addicted to drugs. By the time I was 13, my mother had taken to prostitution. And I hid that my body was invaded when I was 6 years old. Raging anger would take over every aspect of my life. And as you can imagine, I would start to follow a similar destructive path, as statistically I would, becoming a teen mother and a borderline alcoholic by 19 years old. I lived in a soup of negativity for years, seeing no end in sight. But thankfully there was. With the help of some amazing individuals, I changed my path. I succeeded in not only breaking generational cycles, but over time, I gained a deep passion for fighting for and succeeding in my personal goals. I became a successful corporate leader, and today I help men and women persevere in their goals also. During some personal reflection, I thought back and I examined all of the difficult times and the moments of growth that shaped me to who I am today. And I discovered in every single pivotal moment of growth from then until now that there were several foundational building blocks that contributed to the moments I was most resilient and most successful. These same truths helped me not to only get by, but to learn from, grow from, and win despite the odds. These pillars are now a permanent part of my personal and professional resiliency plan. These same simple steps allowed me to remain vigilant when I decided I no longer wanted to rely on government assistance, when I wanted to develop as a trusted leader, and again, when I decided I would become a first-time homeowner as a single mama. Today, I will share 3 of these foundational pillars with you. These foundational building blocks will help you harness unbreakable resilience, no matter the goal or the circumstance. Let's dive in. Pillar resiliency number 1, identify your opponent. Who is your opponent? Many times we learn that we are staring in the mirror at the very person we are standing up against. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, for me, I had to realize I was the only person standing in my way of improving my situation. And I have faced the same reality multiple times over since. I avoided my pains, masked my fears with rage, never taking accountability for my own actions. I was sucker punching myself by remaining stagnant and doing nothing at all. I had become complacent, never recognizing the dangers of my self-destructive habits and the risks of remaining idle. For many, the opposite is true, often spinning their wheels, feeling as if they're going nowhere. To reiterate pillar number 1, who is standing in your way of success today? Not yesterday, today. I'll tell you, it's not your boss. And no, it's not your mother-in-law, although she may be a leading contender. It's also not your past or your current circumstance. It's you. I know that might hurt because it definitely did for me. But the good news is you have the power to change the narrative. You and only you. And here's some more good news. You don't have to go about it alone. Champions don't win championships on their own. This brings me to pillar number 2. You need an entourage. When I look back on all of the times in my life that I was able to remain the most resilient, I look back and I don't just see Kathy. I see my entourage. I see those same people that aided me on my healing journey, my career journey, and that are helping me today as an entrepreneur and aspiring author. I see my cornermen and my cornerwomen, my mentors and my coaches. My mentors became my sanctuary in between my physical battles on the mat. During each interval of being hit in the face or the gut, either by myself or by life, my cornerman provided me with what I needed to re-strengthen for the next round. I also see my sparring partners. These individuals pushed me and challenged me to my best potential. Your sparring partner should be someone that is honest, trustworthy, non-judgmental, and is someone that it will tell you what you need to hear and not just what you want to hear, even if it hurts. Last but not least, my third and final resiliency pillar for today is training and conditioning. My entourage played a major role in my training and conditioning. Well, what kind of training are we talking about, Kathy? Don't worry, I don't expect anyone to train like Rocky if I can't, and I can't. But I am encouraging that you learn from the best. Did you know that film study is a training technique often used in many championship sports? In this approach, the coach and the fighter, the athlete, will study not only the challenger's punches, footwork, and other patterns, but they will also study films of themselves. So what are they searching for? Strengths and weaknesses, of course. Can you guys see where I'm going with this? If you were the only person standing in your way of success, and Kathy already said that you were, then you need to therefore study your own habits, patterns, and thinking to get to the next level. It doesn't matter if it's your weight loss or your relationships or your career. You must become students of self. Whatever it is that you are facing at home, in the workplace, or whatever you desire the most, here's what you do to remain diligent, resilient, and to win. Number 1, recognize avoidance, complacency, and overwhelm will keep you on the canvas. When you aren't fighting for yourself, you're contending against yourself. Number 2, champions don't fight alone. They surround themselves with an entourage, the right movers, shakers, experience, and backing that will elevate them to champion levels. And number 3, condition your mind. Study your own habits through meditation, self-reflection, and regular feedback from peers. Ask yourself, what do I value? What am I willing to fight for? It's a challenge, because if I can win my fight with these odds stacked against me, so can you.
Thank you, Kathy. I kind of sit here and want to say, you go, girl, you go. I see the book in the background, Girl Fight, and maybe people could look into that. Appreciate what you had to say, Kathy, and let's face it, it's not always easy to overcome our circumstances. It's always easy to blame others.